devil. Oh, here comes the devil. Oh, here comes the devil.
Oh, the devil with the devil, says I.
Shh, look out for the devil. Look out for the devil. Look out for the devil.
Oh, the devil with the devil, says I. You're so afraid of old man Satan. Now, why don't you stop your hesitating? You're gonna be a long time dead, so the devil with the devil, says I. You're always giving me the dickens, telling me that life's no easy pickings. But just as long as I have fun, why, the devil with the devil, says I. You can have your social teas and bingo for your fun. But the things I like to do, you stop me one by one. Now even if you make me stronger, that ain't gonna make me live no longer. So even if I go to shh, the devil with the devil, says I.
Look out for the devil, look out for the devil.
Oh, the devil with the devil, says I.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. Once again, my wife is not here with us because she's under the weather as much as me. I managed to drink this, I don't know, I can show you maybe. It's filled with the ginger and the lemon, honey. But you have to forgive me, guys. Really a lot of problems with my lungs, and so my voice is not going to always be clear today. But in the meantime, I want to thank, of course, the sponsors of the show. So I'm not going to do it as well as my wife, but is Margot Rosada Minta, Ellen Succat, yes, Ellen Succat. Then we have Daniel Estes and Robert Lines. Seems like Robert Lines. I think it is Robert Lines. Yes. At times when my wife writes the names, I can't. Robert Christy, is it Robert Lines? Yes. Okay, because sorry, apart from being under the weather, I'm not as good as reading the names. So Robert Lines, Margot Rosada Minta, Helen Sucatre, and Daniel Estes.
Daniel Estes. Ellen Sucatre.
Yeah.
Margot Rosada Minta. And Robert Lines. Thank you very much, you guys. I feel this.
Yeah. Chris is under the weather, like I said. I'm under the weather, but I drank this. I don't know what it is, guys. I mean, I know it's healthy. It's filled with healthiness, but it's like cayenne pepper mixed with the ginger, and wow, it definitely sorts your throat out, so it should be okay. Now, next year, there is going to be some big changes. Because of the Trump economy, which sucks big time, my wife will be forced into doing her own business project in the fashion industry. And so I will be left alone with a new format because, guys, 2026 is 20 years of Illuminati confessions. 20 years. So I had a lot of people asking me to do this for a long time, but now that the confession series is finished, now that we have this great opportunity with 20 years of Illuminati confessions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new series dedicated to these Illuminati confessions from volume 1 to volume 12. Every week we're going to go through a chapter. It's going to take, of course, the whole year probably. Then Christy is going to eventually come back when she finishes that business project. But in the meantime, I wanted to make you listen to this track, which is going to be the opening track of my new series, Illuminati Confessions, which like I said, celebrates 20 years. It started in 2006, in the fall of 2006, on the internet with a small blog. It then became a literary project after it became a website. And now we are here. We are here, guys, after 20 years. And because the political scene sucks big time, and it's a big disappointment, we're going to go back to the roots. Yes. Welcome. This is gonna be the new opening, and not too bad, not too bad. Illuminatos, yes. Like I said, it's gonna be a whole series dedicated to my Illuminati confessions. As you know, it's 12 books. This is the last book of the series, number 12, dedicated to the Jesuits. So it's gonna be a long adventure. In the meantime, I also want to announce that we're going to be having a replay of all the episodes from 2023 of Exploring the Illuminati Occult, from episode number 1 all the way to episode number 50. Every week, we're going to have also that replay in live modality. So a lot of surprises, and I'm sure that you're going to appreciate them. So thank you again to all the sponsors who make this possible, also with the purchase of my books. I must say that the book on Jeffrey Epstein, The Rise and Fall of a Frankist Monster, guys, this book is a must. And all these... okay. It's scary. It's The Rise and Fall of Frankist Monster. And today, of course, we're going to discuss a lot of what's been going on. Because, guys, for months we had this free Atlas spaceship theory suggesting the interstellar object might have been alien technology, and all this proposed primarily by a guy, this Harvard astrophysicist, Avi Loeb, who's of course a Sabbatean Frankist, who was pushing nonsense and propaganda. Eventually, yesterday, he admitted that. But in the meantime, guys, the curse of the comet, because there's a long history of comet phobia, and humans have always feared comets and other celestial phenomena through the ages. So today we're going to discuss that and how that is connected with the end of Trump's presidency, because the incomplete release of the Epstein files yesterday was the biggest disappointment ever. But of course, I had already announced that will happen a long time ago. So, of course, guys, you have already, there's the book. It is under my tree. Also, I'm being patient. Yeah, definitely, guys. This book under the tree, it fits the tree. It's a great thing to have under the tree. Absolutely. The truth can never be compromised, and we never compromise. We never suck up to any political daddy here. And the first thing I want to show you is how this guy, this Sabbatean Frankist of Avi Loeb, finally admitted that he was joking all along, basically.
Epic saga of the interstellar comet known as 3I Atlas is nearing its end, but not before it goes out without a metaphorical bang. The comet just made its closest pass by Earth overnight, coming within 167 million miles of us.
Remember, guys, this is a very particular time of the year because we have the winter solstice, the Freemasons meet up for their last Masonic meeting of the year. There is a lot of rituals going on also from other kinds of secret societies. And this year we had this comet that some had even presented as a spaceship. In particular, this guy called Avi Loeb, who perceived anomalies in this, in the moving of this. But in the end, let's see what he said.
That close. That journey should give us some of the best images yet of the interstellar object. 3I Atlas will be visible for the next few months before it leaves our solar system forever. Our next guest has gone viral several times for his hypothesis that the comet could actually be an alien spacecraft with, quote, hostile intentions. The majority of the scientific community agrees it's just a comet. But has Avi Loeb been convinced? Harvard professor Avi Loeb joins us now. So, Avi, do you think it's a comet or do you think it's a spaceship?
Well, so far, so good.
So far, so good.
3I Atlas did not maneuver or display any unusual activity when it came closest to Earth.
So it was a big nothing burger. There's no alien invasion, no Independence Day. We have to hope things change by the time Steven Spielberg puts out this movie in June 2026, the day of disclosure. In the meantime, though, Avi Loeb probably made some money with this alleged revelation. It was a spaceship all along, but now it's not a spaceship. No.
Some Earthlings might find it insulting, but the truth of the matter is that with its initial speed, it must have taken it a billion years or many billions of years to cross the Milky Way galaxy. And so when it started its journey, there were no humans on Earth, and Jupiter must have been the center of attention in the solar system.
No, I think you wanted to be the center of attention on the media system. This guy... let me tell you, what a disappointment. I was hoping for an alien invasion. It didn't happen. No, I didn't believe it. No, it's already happening in another way. The aliens are already amongst us. Through reverse engineering, they have conquered our brains. AI and robotics are about to take over the show. Democracy is going to be a thing of the past in 10 years from now. And the last hope we had was Donald J. Trump, who turned out to be the biggest scam ever. Yes, because all the promises that he made were never kept. That's it, guys. Let's admit that this guy has scammed us. And then we're going to be free of this spell. And at the same time, though, the curse of the comet that manifests now on the day of the supposed disclosure, at the end, it was only a partial disclosure. A partial one, a very partial one. Yeah. We want to know more about
Saturday, this. Y'all. Happy Saturday. It is a very rare thing that you get a video from me on a Saturday.
Now, usually it's not a rare thing you get a video from me on a Saturday, but this guy is saying actually some interesting things. And to tell you the truth, there actually are a couple of things that already have been removed from the official site of the Department of Justice. So imagine what kind of really sloppy job they have done to cover up with a bunch of redactions and whatnot. If you want to check for yourself, I put the link here in the chat for those who are following us, of course, on Facebook, YouTube, not for those who are following us also on X, Rumble, BitChute, or Band of Video, but I'm putting the link, which is an important link because, guys, DOJ disclosures, Epstein library, and you go through all this, and it's a big. No, there is actually a couple of interesting elements. Huh? Okay. Anyway, let's go and discover more.
But we just got the first batch of the Epstein files released yesterday, and I want to show you all of it. I do not want to wait until Monday, so here we are. A lot of stuff to get to. So first, let's start with this. Prem Thakur points out. So the Epstein files are, number 1, not complete. Number 2, comically redacted. Number 3, not in a searchable format. The Trump-Vance administration had...
No, I must say, I have to agree with this guy. He's a leftist, this guy from Secular Talks, but I must agree. It's comical, but probably it's actually a tragicomical situation, because think about all the victims that were waiting for some big disclosure, and then we have this highly redacted so much that even the DOJ had admitted, oh, maybe we redacted so much, we redacted too much these files. Now, Ted Blanche has promised within the next 2 weeks we're going to have more. Today there was another few things that were published, but mostly it was images of the various computers of Jeffrey Epstein, of his hard disk, and so on. Who cares? If we really look into the whole thing, aside from the photos, Mick Jagger, sympathy for the devil with Jeffrey Epstein, but that's not a big surprise. I had published in Volume 8 of my Confessions, Ghislaine Maxwell and Mick Jagger. Then we have Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, well, we know the history of Michael Jackson. He liked little children. So they had something in common with Jeffrey Epstein. At least he was a good artist, because we have to admit he was a good artist. However, there is a bunch of things that have been omitted, and it's like Marjorie Taylor Greene said, what the hell are they hiding at this point?
Months to recover from the embarrassing influencer binder photo op, and this is what they came up with. This is what they think of you. So he's exactly right here. They are very clearly violating not only the letter of the law, but also the spirit of the law. And
yes, because it was called the Epstein Transparency Act, expired yesterday at midnight. They should have revealed everything, and now it's only a small percentage. What is Alex Jones gonna say now? Ooh, Alex Jones has been really trying to navigate perilous waters these days. We also had a Turning Point USA, which actually could have been renamed Turning Against Each Other USA, because suddenly Ben Shapiro attacked Tucker Carlson responds, these other people, Ben Shapiro attacks also Candace Owen, this and this other. I mean, it seems like the MAGA movement is really imploding, which is obvious. At this point, there is no reason for us to lie about what is obvious. Remember, guy, the curse of the comet, because aside from everything else, the Three Eye Atlas is a comet, and humans have always feared comets and other celestial phenomena through the ages. That's nothing new. Throughout recorded history, guys, humans have looked at the heavens and celestial phenomena, such as comets, and it always provoked some kind of hysteria up until the 16th century. Then things changed, science became more pragmatic. But comets have a long history, usually as omens and bearers of bad news, especially in regards to people of power. It sanctioned the fall of kings. Like, for example, Woody Sullivan, who was at least a professor of astronomy, said, but on the other hand, the death of Julius Caesar was marked by a comet. Yes, the death of Julius Caesar, when and this was taken by the Romans as a sign of his divinity. And Napoleon made a fuss about the appearances of comets, and some of, it was like he was fixated. He will change the plan of a whole battle based on the fact there will be a comet appearance. Now, I repeat, Caesar and Napoleon aside, comets generally have been regarded as unwelcome visitors over the years. Pope Calixtus III excommunicated the famous Halley comet, which is probably the most famous comet that keeps on passing every now and then, and in 1456. And it actually described this comet as an instrument of the devil. In the following century, the appearances of comets were seen by the Incas and Aztec astrologers as a sign of divine wrath. So, guys, this is the end of Donald J. Trump's presidency. It's the end. There is no way he will be able to recover from all this.
This is them gumming up the works. This is them clearly doing something illegal and hoping that they're going to get away with it. So as you can see, Prem literally points out the section of the law. It says, in general, not later than 30 days after the date of enactment of this act, the Attorney General shall, subject to subsection B, make publicly available in a searchable and downloadable format all unclassified records. So, we're going to talk about this in a little bit too, but it looks like there might actually be some consequences and some justice for the fact that they released this in a completely and utterly and obviously illegal way.
So they want to impeach Pam Bondi, but Pam Bondi, I'm sure I'm already prophesying the future. On the last day of Donald J. Trump's presidency, before he leaves the White House, he will pardon Pam Bondi. He will pardon also Kash Patel, the useful idiot at the FBI. And why not? Even Dan Bongino, who is now a failed podcaster because he was going back to podcast, but who knows how that's going to work out because he's been as credible as nothing. I repeat, these people are a joke. And to admit that, people will say, of course, Kamala would have been worse. Yeah, but guys, it's the less of two evils. But at this point, Trump is manifesting himself to be a Machiavellic figure who, instead of maintaining his MAGA base and the promises made to his MAGA base, including affordability. Oh, affordability is a scam. Affordability is a hoax. Affordability is not a hoax because I go to the supermarket every week. I'm the one who does the shopping here in this household. Christy does the cooking, I do the shopping. So I have an eye on the prices. And it's all costing double of what it cost when I came here in 2019. I haven't had a steak in 2 months because a steak now means spending $30. I mean, what are we going to have to sign a mortgage when you buy a steak? Come on, guys. Affordability with Trump is not really working out because even the inflation is rising. From day one, he went in front of Mar-a-Lago with all the stuff, all these products, saying everything was too expensive. saying he would diminish everything, the cost of everything on day one. And now we are in December, at the end of the first Trump year, and everything is more and more expensive. So regardless of the Epstein files, regardless of the fact that now they are telling us that maybe there was even a 13-year-old that went to Mar-a-Lago when Trump was there, and there was actually a comment by Epstein who said, isn't she a nice girl? And Trump said, He smiled. He didn't give a definitive answer, but he smiled. And this was the same girl that in 2021 was a witness against Ghislaine Maxwell. The Sabbathean Frankists control the White House. They control Israel. They control AIPAC. They control basically everything, together with the Jesuits. Let's continue here listening what was disclosed in the first dump of these so-called Epstein files from the Epstein library.
Now, having said that, there are still things in here that they messed up and they accidentally forgot to redact because they're incredibly incompetent and they let it slip through the cracks. And so there's actually a lot of juicy findings in this, even though what they were trying to do was effectively cover it all up. So before I go any further, let me show you this. Let me remind you of this. James O'Keefe, who used to be...
You remember, this is a video that I showed you myself a few weeks ago here on the Leo Zagami show. And it's kind of significant and very relevant today. So let's view it again.
With Project Veritas, this right-wing journalist. He now has left Project Veritas. He did an undercover date with somebody, or he had, a female worker do an undercover date with somebody who works at the DOJ. And this person accidentally spilled the tea and said the quiet part out loud and let us know exactly what was going on behind the scenes with the Trump regime and what they're doing with the Epstein files. So listen to this.
Well, those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
Okay, so the Department of Justice acting deputy chief Joseph Schnitt said on the Epstein files, quote, they'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files and leave all of the liberal Democratic people in those files.
Now, we actually had a search engine that doesn't work. Yes, a search engine that doesn't work. They published the Epstein library and the search engine doesn't work. But apart from that, if you go and check, there is no Republican names. The Republican names are even erased from the boat log, because there is the flight log for the Lolita Express and the boat log for those who go on to Little St. James. Well, it was erased. All the names were erased. So this is really the most instrumental use of justice in the most despicable way possible. Yesterday, I was viewing interviews with the people at Turning Point USA, and there were a lot of MAGA, a lot of our conservatives there who were saying, doesn't matter if it is conservatives, Republicans, or Democrats. We want transparency. We want all the Epstein files released, unredacted. Now, we want transparency from the White House. The White House is now in the hands of people who are doing the biggest mistake possible for the image and for the legacy of Donald J. Trump, who's going to come out of this whole thing as a joke. That's the problem.
So he was admitting up front what we all suspected. That, remember, there was that article that came out very early on in the Trump regime that they had ordered the FBI to redact Trump's name in the Epstein files. Now, I should also point out, when the Epstein estate was subpoenaed and 23,000 Epstein emails were released, guess who was the number one person referenced in those emails? It was Donald Trump. Out of 23,000 emails, he was referenced about 1,600 times more than anybody else, and they want you to believe that he wasn't referenced at all in the Epstein files. Okay, more. This is Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein, and you guys remember this. He was on News Nation, and he said he knows that they're sanitizing the files and removing Republican names. Listen.
What I do want to talk about is I've been recently told the reason they're going to be releasing these things and the reason for the flip is that they're sanitizing these files.
Sanitizing these files? Do you understand, guys, that this is a republic on which we stand and we need to protect the institutions of this republic? We have a judiciary, we have a legislative, and we have an executive branch. In 1 year from now, after the midterm elections, the legislative branch is definitely going to go to the Democrats. The people like me, and this I say with great sadness, are probably never going to vote again. And this is going to probably please the future elite that is going to distance us from the reality of politics more and more as they put in place the AI plan for the AI takeover of the whole system. Staying honest in all this is what we have. And explaining who are the real puppet masters behind the scenes, pulling the strings, is what we're going to continue to do here at the Leo Zagami Show. Next year, of course, in a new format, is going to be about Confessions of an Illuminati. I'm going to go through the history of how I put together these 12 volumes. And at the same time, it's going to be about what you see today, because it's all a result of these people and their machinations, the strategic manipulations behind the scene. When I published this book on Jeffrey Epstein, there is people, and I want to nominate them, who I've been on the show many times, who wouldn't give me the time of the day because they suddenly didn't want to discuss Jeffrey Epstein. People who up until 10 years ago were all over the Jeffrey Epstein case, when, of course, the Democrats refused to talk about it, now suddenly they don't want to discuss Jeffrey Epstein. Even this book, which is actually a book which talks about the historical, religious, and anthropological background of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But they're scared. However, let me announce you that this book is still going great. The Rise and Fall of a Frankenstein Monster. It's a book that is perfectly timed to finally put some clarity and make you understand who is really controlling the White House, who is really controlling the Congress, who is really controlling the military-industrial complex, as well as the big pharma.
The facility in Winchester, Virginia, where they're scrubbing the files to take Republican names out of it. That's what I was told by a pretty good source.
There you go. Literally even saying it's happening in Winchester, Virginia. Okay, well, look at this. Fox News confirms that the DOJ hid the identities of what they call politically exposed individuals in the Epstein files. Fox News Digital has learned that the same redaction standards were applied to politically exposed individuals and government officials. So this is a fancy schmancy way of saying we are absolutely positively going to protect the Republicans, going to protect Trump, going to protect the people in the regime, and we are going to immediately throw...
But there is a but here. Eh? Like Major Taylor Greene said, the dam is opening. The whole thing is bringing more and more Republicans who now during the festivities are going to go back to their constituents. They're going to see that if they continue this cover-up, they will lose the midterm elections, that Trump is becoming a liability, is becoming a danger for them. Guys, MAGA needs to distance itself from Trump, and that's why already we have this America First, no? that is trying to distance itself from MAGA, but MAGA is always MAGA. We're going to make America great again without Trump, who has betrayed us, the people who voted him. Somebody says the real puppet masters are not human anyway. Well, we know that. And actually, those alien beings, those extra-dimensional, interdimensional entities, like I explained in Volume 7, but also in Volume 9, are the ones hiding behind the rise of the AI, which is the product of reverse engineering, alien reverse engineering. But the thing is that, you see, we have a bunch of people now that are simply attacking each other for more likes, for more views. I don't like personally Nick Fuentes, but I had to agree with him the other day when he said that we are at a point of no return with Trump and the way he has betrayed us. I don't agree with his anti-Semitism. I don't agree with his racism. I don't agree with the majority of things he stands for. He's an incel who never had any sex at 27 years of age. The guy is sick in his head. But having said that, America First will have to put together people who think in a different way, just like MAGA did. MAGA put together even Kennedy with his Make America Healthy Again movement, put together so many different sides of the conservative spectrum. But now we have understood there is people who are for America and people who are not for America. Guys, I mean, there is people who are sincerely a joke. One of the biggest jokes, I think, of the whole scene, let me tell you, is this gentleman called Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson. Yeah, he's a complete and utter joke. He is basically a, how can we define him? I mean, the guy's a mercenary. This guy is a mercenary. He's no patriot. There is no America First in going after Iran, in receiving Benjamin Netanyahu and Mar-a-Lago and suddenly talking about new strikes in Iran. Guys, Jared Kushner is a member of Chabad, and I had a personal experience with Chabad that basically demonstrates that they are covering up for the liberal side with their fake acidic orthodoxy. But let's move further in this unveiling of the Epstein files. In this unveiling of the Epstein files, that, I mean, they have been overly redacted. Even CNN is having the time of the day, you know?
Epstein files released. Now, I had a little hesitancy on that word because it's only part. The DOJ releasing a mass dump of heavily redacted documents tonight. And I want to just emphasize that point. By heavily redacted, I mean a lot of pages that look like this and this and this and this and this.
I mean, guys, the DOJ that publishes a bunch of black pages. What is this? This is not what we voted for. This is a disgrace.
Any Democrats that we possibly can directly under the bus. So look at this.
So, okay, the whole thing is to put to throw Democrats under the bus by releasing only their names, redacting the Republican names. Guys, there is laws in place. At the end of the day, Congress will have to be informed of every single page that has been redacted, every single photo that has been redacted, covered, omitted, whatever you want to say, because it's simply censorship of the worst kind. Videos also that probably have been censored with the excuse of being child abuse videos or other things. I repeat, Americans want justice. And there is a system in place whereby the DOJ will have to explain, and Todd Blanche, Pam Bondi will have to explain why they publish this utter and complete mess, this scam, because we are being frauded here. I mean, yes, of course, naked image of Epstein women accidentally disclosed. So that also demonstrates the incapacity, no? Because we have black pages, and then suddenly naked image of Epstein women accidentally released because they are a bunch of idiots. They don't even know how to act. But what is this?
All I was going to do to the printer to make the point. Okay, there's a lot more of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to waste the ink of my printer for this BS. That's for sure. But let's go back to the files.
The Kash Patel said he had 300 gigabytes of Epstein files. And guess what was released yesterday? Only 2.5 gigabytes have been released. That's less than 1% of the Epstein files were released yesterday. They are
I heard it was 10%. He says 1%. I don't know, guys. It seems very, very dodgy what they're doing. You cannot, after all this time preparing for this disclosure of sorts, so that everybody in America was waiting for before Christmas, release the biggest nothing burger in the history of nothing burgers. Actually, a black burger. Yeah, a burnt burger. It's not even eatable because they have redacted and omitted so much that doesn't add anything new to the discussion here. It's simply covering up for those people which I have exposed in my new book.
Flagrantly breaking the law. Flagrantly. So again, we'll talk more in a little bit about what's being done about that. How about this? Entire documents and image and video albums redacted in today's release of the Epstein files. There's like a 116-page grand jury thing. Every single part of that completely and utterly redacted.
We are in darkness, you know. I mean, it's a little bit like the winter solstice. It's all very dark, and then suddenly we go towards the light. Ooh. So what are they going to do by June? Are they going to get some kind of alien disclosure through Steven Spielberg and something else to bring our attention elsewhere? Because let's not forget one thing. In this book, I explain that Steven Spielberg was part of the Jewish study group whose head was Lex Wexner, who, by the way, was the main guy behind Jeffrey Epstein. Do you think it's a coincidence that suddenly we have the day of disclosure? That is going to be finally in all the cinemas, in the Steven Spielberg Disclosure Day. Let's go and view a little bit of this Disclosure Day. It's preparing. We are preparing. Are you preparing? I don't know. It's coming.
Would that frighten you? Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today.
Huh? What? Are you having some problems? Let's what?
Today is...
Yes. Today is Epstein Day. No, that's been postponed. Get those aliens down. I like the fact that Steven Spielberg finally brings some nuns in the equation. We have to have a Catholic element to the whole thing. Yes. It's getting closer. In the meantime, get you burnt burger.
Single part of that. I mean, look at this. This is a joke. Most transparent administration in history, my ass cheeks, is all I have to say about that. All right, more. So this is where they forgot or they messed up and were attempting to redact everything involving Trump.
Perfect. Okay, this photo apparently it's interesting, and I explain you why. I'm going to show it to you with a close-up, because this photo that has been apparently left, but in reality shouldn't have been left, because when we go on the side of this photo that is showing, we find Donald J. Trump with the usual bunch of ladies. Now, we know the beauty pageants and all the rest. There is no need to repeat things. But here we have, of course, more Trump. And the fact that, you know, in the house of Jeffrey Epstein, we have all this Donald J. Trump pics. It's in itself a little bit creepy, to tell you the truth, no? It's a little bit creepy, really. I mean, we have, of course, the photo which I've also published in my book, the photo on the left with Pope Saint John Paul II. Still, the journalists have to explain us why a pope is blessing a pedophile, and why in this pic suddenly we can't see really the Epstein and Ghislaine. But if you want to see the photo, you can go on my book. Then you have many other pics here of relevance with Epstein and other famous people. And then, of course, if we go inside the desk, we open the desk, and suddenly you have these creepy pics with Donald J. Trump all over the place. Let's move forward.
But they missed some stuff. So look at this. Guess the DOJ forgot to redact these pictures of Trump found in Epstein's desk drawer. So if you look closely here, like many pictures in this, it's almost like he had a drawer full of Trump pictures. A drawer full of Trump pictures here. And then, of course, you have the Epstein picture with Mohammed bin Salman, the leader of Saudi Arabia. You have him with one of the previous popes.
Now, this is very important, the Mohammed bin Salman, Saudi Arabia, because let's not forget that Jeffrey Epstein had a fake, between brackets, not really fake, a true Saudi Arabian passport with residence in Austria. And it was given to him when the ambassador in Austria was a member of the Jewish study group, known also as the MIGA group, which I talk about in my book. Loder was the ambassador there for the United States at that time in Austria. But of course, the passport is fake. Yeah, sure.
So, man, they had a lot of dirt on homie. It looks like there's literally a Trump drawer here. Also, you see like a stack of papers. I wonder what these papers are in the Trump drawer. I mean, this is stuff that should be released. By law, it has to be released, but they're refusing to release it. But they messed up and accidentally left in. You can see some of the Trump pictures here. Look at the bottom drawer here. See Trump's face. See another picture with Trump and a bunch of women in bikinis underneath it. So they fucked up. They did not mean to release this one. They certainly would have tried to hide this one. And by the way, they also, we'll talk about this more in a second, but when they realized they fucked up, they went back and tried to remove this stuff. I'm not kidding. So the whole world saw it. They posted about it. They showed it. And then when it became clear to Kash Patel and the FBI idiots and the DOJ and Pam Bondi, they go, oh shit, Trump's going to be bad. Then they went back and removed it. Okay, how about this? Again, they tried to redact stuff, but they missed something here. The check Trump gave to Epstein for $22,500 for a, quote, fully depreciated woman has shown up in a new photo in the Epstein files.
Well, actually, I showed this a few episodes ago, that big check signed by Donald J. Trump from another source, of course, but for the priced woman, for a cheap woman. Ooh, who's that?
Where Epstein is pictured holding the check, standing next to a woman. Looks like Trump forgot to redact this, because if you look at the check here, look at the bottom of the check. What name does that say? It says Trump. And here's another question. Why the fuck is this framed? Why did you frame
why do you frame
a picture of Jeffrey Epstein buying a depreciated woman from you, or actually quite
depreciated, a cheap woman?
The other way around, actually. Yeah. So Trump buying a depreciated woman from Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein, he's the one who sells them.
Like, you know, it's basically proving the human trafficking allegations. Now, we were ha hee hee, we were just joking around and stuff, bro. This is your idea of a joke? Let's go get a comically large check made that says my name on it, where I'm buying a woman.
So, how is Alex Jones going to push this one? How is he going to justify this one for his beloved Trump? I'm sorry to say, Alex, it's about time you stop taking the Trump Kool-Aid. I mean, I know that because otherwise you're going to end up like those guys in Jonestown. You're just going to drink this Kool-Aid and die. That's sad. Stop drinking the Trump Kool-Aid, Alex. I'm just hoping that because this show goes also on band of video, you might watch it and then realize, oh, I need to stop drinking the Trump Kool-Aid. Yes, you need to stop drinking the Trump Kool-Aid.
For $22,500? Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ.
Another thing, why didn't the Democrats release this before Trump was elected? This is also very important, and people need to understand that it wasn't released simply because Joe Biden, very close to Bill Clinton, wanted to avoid embarrassment because Bill Clinton is obviously exposed in these files. Is super exposed. I mean, the guy is literally having sex in a swimming pool, is having probably oral or hand job, I don't know what, in a swimming pool, is swimming with Ghislaine Maxwell. I mean, of course that Joe Biden couldn't publish this material. It will compromise just as many Democrats as it compromises Republicans. This is not about politics, guys. This is about the uniparty. People have enough of this uniparty. Get it in your heads. We had enough of this uniparty. Watch Bill. Hey, Bill, are you enjoying it there? Huh? What is the girl doing there? Why did the DOJ cover it up? Huh? Naughty Bill. We know that you like your oral sex in kinky ways. I know. I shouldn't talk like this of a former president of the United States of America. But Bill Clinton was a pervert. We all know it, and it's not a big deal. However, Joe Biden, who is equally a pervert, who had improper showers with his young daughter. And then you have Obama, who went and had the crack with Sinclair there and oral sex in the back of a limo because he's bisexual. So guys, give me a break. Give me a break. If the only president of the United States who was ethically and morally sound with his wife was Jimmy Carter, because we know that Ronald Reagan went to the Bohemian Grove and did some kinky stuff there. So I can't say the same for Ronald Reagan, even if I liked him as a president. Okay. What are we going to do? Just move forward.
Sure, they accidentally forgot to redact the part that says Trump, which is hilarious. And then also the original picture. This is the original picture here. So these were separate pictures that were taken with this check. Apparently they were taking pictures all over the place with this check at Mar-a-Lago, by the way. But there you have it. You have the purchasing of a fully depreciated woman. Imagine for a second, this was any Democratic president, you would never hear the fucking end of it. They would say, oh my God, pound the gavel, it's over. This guy's some sort of disgusting pervert. This is crazy. This is crazy. All right. Thousands of Epstein photos are releasing. So I believe here we have a video, and I'm going to go ahead and play it for you, and we'll pause as we see fit. Here we go. All right, so this is Bill Clinton wearing a red hoodie with I don't know who. Jeffrey Epstein wearing some sort of robe. It looks like either on his island or some other tropical getaway. We have, this is the one that everybody's talking about here. So we have Bill Clinton in a pool and looks to be shirtless. It does kind of look like he's wearing, a swimsuit, though. It looks like darker in the area where the swimsuit is. So it looks like he's wearing a swimsuit, but who knows who the hell else is in this pool with him, and they redacted the face here. Somebody did, shout out to Political Punk on YouTube, because he went and found out what pool this was. Apparently, this is like the Empire Hotel in Brunei is where they were. That's where this pool is. All right, let's keep going here. You have Jeffrey Epstein with, I don't even know what's going on here. It looks like underage girls, maybe, kneeling almost in some sort of like monastery type situation. And he's looking at them. Very bizarre. Very bizarre. Ghislaine Maxwell with the puppy, dressed in some, like, you know, Air Force attire, it appears like. Bill Clinton, somewhere in Asia, it looks like, wearing a suit. Bill Clinton with somebody else, wearing a Jordan shirt. Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, maybe some other people here that are famous that I can't, you know, think of at the moment, but almost looks like they're at some hibachi place, right? Bill Clinton with somebody else, Kevin Spacey walking in, this looks like Central Park in New York City, but I mean, I could be wrong about that. But you have Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, some other people. I mean, it looks like, I don't know. Is this from when he was president? I doubt it, but maybe from just when he was out of the presidency. Chris Tucker, who went on many trips with Jeffrey Epstein. Let's keep going here. Jeffrey Epstein with, I don't know, some very large-looking feral dogs. Here we have Bill Clinton with, I mean, shit, I don't know who that is. It kind of looks like it might be Virginia Giuffre. But some young woman, some young girl, it appears like. Let's keep going. This one is Michael Jackson, Diana Ross. Now, the two faces that are blacked out here, that are redacted, it's actually their kids. So, and now I should also point out, this picture was already released, I believe it was in like 2003 or something like that. This picture came out, so it was already part of the public record. But because of the redactions, it makes it look like, you know, they were directly involved with Epstein. And that's a little bit misleading. So, and we'll have more on that in a little bit, how they try to do some head fakes here to get people talking about something other than Donald Trump. And this was one of them, but it kind of fell flat because people were able to see through it. All right, we got a dinner here with Mick Jagger. Looks like Ghislaine Maxwell, Bill Clinton, and then some other people I don't know. There's Mick Jagger and Ghislaine Maxwell, Bill Clinton, Mick Jagger, Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know who these people are, but there's Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton. Chris Tucker with somebody.
Well, there is definitely a lot of sympathy for the devil. But let me show to all of you the testimony of one of my favorite politicians. Yes, guys, somebody who is really ashamed of what is going on. Tim Burchett from the Republican Party from Tennessee. See what he's saying, because he's saying something very interesting here. This is the future. And you have it here on the Leo Zagami Show.
Justice Department is a multi-leveled onion. And I've said this all along. I wish they just fired them all. Fired every dadgum one of them and started over. Because you're never going to get to the bottom of this thing, Chris. It's just like the Kennedy assassination. I was on this committee this year, and I asked a doctor the question of, did I think there was more than one bullet? And he said, of course there's more than one bullet. And he shows a diagram of Kennedy's head and the way the bullets went. You know, I mean, he was in the room there when they brought Kennedy in. That should have been a national news story. This is Washington, D.C. 101, Chris. You grew up in it. I've just been brought into it rather late. But it's all a cover-up. The whole place is slimy. People want to call it a swamp. I said, quit calling it a swamp, man. Swamp is something pretty cool. God created it. Filters water. Animal life lives around it. This place is a sewer. It is man-made. It is crooked as a dog's leg.
This place is a sewer. It's not even a swamp. It's a sewer.
Both parties have sold out to the sewer, not to the swamp. There is a uniparty. And we're all just, you know, I'm
the Uniparty. This guy, man, this guy has the balls. This guy should be president of the United States, not Donald J. Trump, who sell us all out. A scumbag from New York who has basically sold us because he was a Democrat. And once a Democrat, always a Democrat. That's the big problem here. Listen to the words of somebody like Tim. Tim is a politician, which definitely I have a lot of respect for.
35th most powerful member of Congress. Nobody gives a rip what I say. We're all just out here dangling on a string. But until America gets off their butts on election day, that's Democrats and Republicans, and sees what's going on, and we have more than 12% of the dadgum population going to the polls, Chris, this kind of stuff will happen every day. It happens.
Somebody's saying, Leo, I really like your work, but come on, Epstein was trying to entrap any dominant public. Guys, here is not about siding with somebody. Leo Zagami said it first. I have been doing this for 20 years. In 2026, we're going to start a new series dedicated to my Illuminati confession that kickstarted in 2006. And from that moment onwards, I always told you they are all in it. And at that time, we had no Donald J. Trump. And I was accusing both the Republicans and the Democrats of bringing us for a ride in a sewer, not a swamp, like Tim says. You have to open your eyes, guys. Politics is about corruption, and now is about to fade out because the AI is going to take over. And at this point, we need to wake up before it's too late. We need to join the real revolution, because Trump has betrayed us. Promises kept, never. Promises made, a lot. But they were all part of propaganda that was easily sold to the Americans during this presidential campaign, never ending from 2020 to the moment we helped electing a guy who has scammed us.
Happens every time. You're right. The Democrats had this stuff for 4 years. They didn't do anything. We've had it for, I guess, 9 months now, maybe. Now we're putting this stuff out, and it's heavily redacted. Well, of course it's going to be heavily redacted. This is Washington. This is what we've created, and we've allowed this to infiltrate. We've allowed this bunch of dirtbags in Washington, D.C. to control our lives. I was in a meeting like this past week, Chris, and I'm not, I just say I was in a situation where I can't talk about I just say that I can't talk about the subject or what we were talking about. But so we asked a question, and they said that the president was on a need-to-know basis. I mean, you think that our leaders are actually running this place? You got another thing coming, man. You need to get out and experience reality some ways. You know, I'm sitting here on my farm in Tennessee, and I'm loving life. But I know the reality of what's going on around me. There is evil in this world, brother. There is evil. And we need some, and you said it in your earlier spot, we need some Old Testament judgment to come down on these people.
Yes, we need some Old Testament judgment. The real revolution is going to be made by God upon his people and those who betrayed him. The Sabbatean Frankists and the Jesuits are on top of this system, which I have described in my books. Volume 12 shows you how the Jesuits are on top of this pyramid of power from the very beginning of the foundation of a great United States of America. They are doing anything possible and imaginable to jeopardize our Constitution. And of course, once the Democrats are back in power, they will attack both the First and the Second Amendment. And we only have to thank Donald J. Trump for putting the Democrats back in power. Next year, you're going to see that happening in the midterm elections. And then you're going to see that happening, unfortunately, in the presidential elections. We're probably going to have Gavin Newsom president and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez vice president. And at that moment in time, remember what I told you in December 2025. The Jesuits are in control. The Jesuits have prepared all along Gavin Newsom. They have prepared all along Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And the incompetency of Donald J. Trump has helped these people rise again.
Because one little girl, I was in the meeting, and I say one little girl. She was a little girl when she was raped. And I hate it when people say they had sex with old men. They didn't have sex. They were raped.
Yes, little girls were raped. We have been fighting for Donald J. Trump from 2015, the moment me and Alex Jones decided, he came to Rome. He said, Leo, this guy's a businessman. We should support him. Okay, let's support him. But remember, guys, that Leo Zegami has been around for a very long time. When Trump was still playing with his apprentice on TV, we were fighting the New World Order here. Maybe Alex Jones with his millions have forgot the mission. The mission is to fight them, never to join them. Remember that, Alex. Remember that.
They were violated. The most horrible things happened to these ladies, little girls. And this girl said, I blacked out everything in my memory. And, you know, God gives people that ability sometimes when something's just so horrific. And she said, I want to see those files so I know what's in them. And I said, do you want them released? And she said, no, I don't. I wish people would understand, though, there's a group of people out there that are in this, involved in this, that don't want their names released. And there is some protection within the writing of the law, but you're correct in every one of your assumptions where you said that, you know, who goes after the Justice Department when they screw up? I mean, it's like, no, nobody goes after the Justice Department. And I think that's inherently what's wrong with this, the way they passed this thing and what they passed. They should have had a clause in there for punishment for refusing to do that. Cutting off funds, doing something. Congress is the checkbook. We should have done that. Cut off their freaking money. Why do we keep funding these bureaucrats that just constantly thumb their nose at the American public? I don't know. I'm very frustrated with Washington. I've been there 8 years. And, you know, my biggest surprise was when I got to Washington, Chris.
What?
I was not surprised.
Yes, we are not surprised. We shouldn't be surprised. And if you want to see the Leo Zegami show again, tune in next Saturday, because here we're going to start something new. We're going to go back to the roots of the problem, the people behind the scenes, the people who really control the world and who are trying to sabotage this great nation of ours, the United States of America. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you also from my wife, who was a little bit under the weather today, but we both wish you a Merry Christmas. A Christmas that has to put aside the political divisions. A Christmas that has to put in front your friendships, your family, because those are the real values. Remember that. So please accept my Merry Christmas and continue to support the show. And if in the future we, of course, receive sponsorships and with the purchase of books, maybe we can indulge in more transmissions. Take care, all of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. Remember to hug your friends and your relatives, because those are the most important people, not those scumbags in the sewage we call Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for believing in us this year. It was a difficult year, but it was always a great year because of you. Take care.
In that time, our world has taken so many steps in the wrong direction. Negative utopia, science, technology, social organization, dehumanization. In the negative utopia, science, technology, social organization. Technology, social organization, dehumanization. technology, social organization,